Hi guys, welcome back, and hello from Ellie as well. So I'd just like to run through some things that I did when I was building my van. I was trying to use forethought and think about things that might happen in the future. And if you're thinking of keeping your van for a while, there could be gadgets, devices, appliances come out in the future that you might want, and these things are going to invariably need power, and so you might need power in parts of your van that you don't necessarily need now but you might do in the future. And there's also questions of gaining access to things that you've fitted, controls, etc., that you might need to get to in the future. You might need to make additions to them, or repairs, or even replace them. And so I just thought I'd give you an idea of what I did when I was building my van with regards to things like this. So this is my main 12-way fuse board, and I used 11 of the terminals on here, with leaving one spare. And I knew I was going to have heated water tanks because the underslung water tanks can freeze in winter, and I was going to get some heated pads for those. So I used the top right one, the spare here, to run a 6mm cable down and underneath here, and it terminates under there to the left hand side of the fridge, where I know I can cut a hole and get some conduit down and towards the tanks, the wiring for the tanks. So besides the 12-way fuse board, I also fitted two more 6-way fuse boards. I wired these up using 10mm cable, which was connected to the back of the isolation switch just below the 12-way fuse board. And so when the isolation switch is operated, these are isolated also. So this one is above the bench seat in the cupboard there, and there's another one above the bed in the cupboard up here. And this one's already coming useful. I'm using 3 terminals off this already. One goes to the Truma CP1 controller, one goes to the gas isolation switch, and the other one powers this socket down here that I use to power the TV. And so besides having power in different places, you also need to think about being able to route cables into different parts of the van from these power supplies. And so what I did was run extra trunking, and if you can see these two 20mm corrugated trunking sections here, these run through the framework of the van, and one of them, the top one, goes all the way around the back of the shower and comes out in this cupboard up here. And so I can feed a cable all the way back. Maybe I want to put something on the back up here, or even a camera on the back of the van. I can supply power to that using that method. We've also got a spare cable in here that's linked to the power supply circuit and USB circuit in case I ever needed to, or desired some USB sockets in the little cupboard there. And the other piece of trunking, this one, goes through the framework of the van right down behind the back of the shower. And comes out here. So you'll also notice there's two together there. So one of them, as I've just mentioned, goes up into the cupboard, and the other one runs all the way down round the back of the shower tray, and that one comes out the back of here. Admittedly, I would have to cut a hole in here to get to that, but I know exactly where it is. And so using that trunking, I can run cable anywhere down that side of the van. It just makes it awkward with the shower being there. You don't want cables running through the top of the shower. I don't like to see anything visible regarding cables. I always try and keep it really tidy and neat. So On the other side of the van it's not too bad because I have the cupboard and other cupboards there that I can run cables through from that 6-way fuse board. So if I needed to run cables from this one that's in the bedroom area on the passenger side, I could connect into that. I could go through this cupboard into this one and get to the control centre if I needed to. Another thing I did when I was forming the base for all the controls, this section here, it's made out of like fillets, and I hollowed those out as you can see there, and so there's passageway for all the cables right through. I positioned the BMV purposely at the front here so I can get my hand in and I can get to the back of it, because that is held on by a nut. If it had been further across, I'd never have got my hand in there. And that is a BMV 700, so it doesn't come with Bluetooth. And so recently I bought this little adapter here, the Bluetooth dongle, and I needed to get the BMV fascia off the controller to get it plugged in the back, and so it's a good job I did that. So I had to take the whole thing out, and because I thought about that when I was building it, it's coming really useful. Another good idea is when you're sizing up your solar charge controller is to get larger than what you need if you think you're going to be adding extra panels in the future. I've only got a 185 watt panel on the roof at the moment, so I could have got away with a 20 amp EPEVA MPP solar charge controller, but instead I went for a 30, and so this allows me to have another 200 watt panel up there if I decide to do so, which is one of the projects coming up in the future, hopefully near future. So it was a good job I put that in. Just another thing to think about is the gas pipe work. If you've got soldered joints or compression fittings on any of your gas pipe work inside the van, just make sure that you can get access to them. If you develop a leak when it's been tested, then you're going to need to be able to check those joints. So I hope this has given you some ideas, and I know if you're too far on with your van it might be a little bit too late for you, but you know, it's always worth trying to future-proof your van and think in advance. Anyway, take care, bye bye.